Today's project, folks, is bittersweet, and so just as a heads up, we'll be doing things a little differently. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dev Diary, a series where I try to make my own video games. And so if game dev videos are your thing, consider subscribing to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Now, a while back, I worked on remaking a mini game from a game that I really enjoy called Hypnospace Outlaw. And we're returning to the world of Hypnospace Outlaw, but this time, it's a fan game for one of the in-universe characters, Gumshoe Gooper. Now, if you're not familiar with Gumshoe Gooper or Hypnospace Outlaw in general, don't worry, just treat it like any old Dev Diary project where I got a little weird with it. But for those of you in the know, try to keep an eye out for the references. Players control the titular Gumshoe Gooper, who is on a mission to save as much fan art as possible. From who exactly? Well, none other than a rogue hypey. Now, the fan art Gooper is after is actually hidden, but Gooper is a gumshoe after all, and that means they've got an eye for detail. Hidden fan art will emit a bit of a sparkle, and this is Gooper's cue to pull out their magical eye buddy, the magnifying glass, for a closer inspection. Using the glass's special sight, if there so happens to be a piece of fan art in the view of the lens, this will bring that piece of fan art into Gooper's reality. Now, it's here where Gooper has to act fast, because that dastardly rogue hypey is always around. And in fact, hypey has a tendency to follow the player, zipping around and just waiting for our hero to stumble upon some of those pieces of illegal depictions of the famous gumshoe. So when the player finds and brings pieces of art into the world, this will alert hypey if they're near enough. And while it won't be immediate if not collected fast enough, hypey will grab it for itself and delete it from the world forever. Once all the fan art has been collected for the level, the round ends. And because this was meant to be more of a game aimed at kids, well, we'll just assume that for better or worse, you know, as long as Gumshoe Gooper collected one piece of fan art, it was a success. Honestly, this was about where I stopped for this project. Partly because I accomplished the main loop of the project, but also because more than anything, this was really just totally meant to be a tribute to Hypnospace Outlaw for this video. And it's here we get to the bittersweet part, because this tribute comes in the wake of the announcement that Dream Settler, the sequel to Hypnospace Outlaw, was recently cancelled. And I, like many Hypnospace fans, have been looking forward to this one for a while, and so seeing Jay Tholen, you know, who I believe was the project lead for both games, having to announce the cancellation was tough. I've linked to the announcement in the description, but to summarize, it sounds like the game fell into one of the easiest pitfalls for creatives to fall into, which is feature/scope creep. And it kinda sounds like it potentially led to burnout and possibly even budgetary issues. And what's interesting is a lot of the issues Jay covers in his explanation for Dream Settler's cancellation are things that we've dealt with here on Dev Diary. Again, it is so incredibly easy to fall into feature creep, especially when ambitions are driven by passion. And if not kept in check, the end result is often a bunch of mechanics or ideas, and you know, no actual single cohesive product. And ambitious is just like one word that seems to describe Dream Settler. I mean, Jay talks about how the game was supposed to have its own version of Flash, and as someone who technically got their start in programming in Flash, that had me so incredibly intrigued. But it's not just ambition, it's also proper management. For example, like every week I try to make something new for Dev Diary, and every week I have to balance what would be cool to see and what's actually possible in the limited time that I have to make content. Like, it would have been so great to fully realize this Gumshoe Gooper fan game, but the reality is that was just never gonna be possible. And so the end result is kinda lacking, which is not ideal at all. And it is an incredibly difficult balancing act. But at the end of the day, all I can hope for is to put an honest effort forward and hope that the people understand and vibe with it. So yeah, it's a shame to see Dream Settler cancelled, and I hope that everyone on the team, including Jay, who seems to have been taking it pretty hard, land on their feet. At this point, at the very least, hopefully lessons were learned. And I mean, not just for the team, but just for us, you know, on the outside looking in as well. And if by some happenstance anyone from the team comes across this video, thank you so much for Hypnospace Outlaw. It's clear that an incredible amount of passion and effort went into that project, and I am so incredibly appreciative that it exists. I wish for nothing but the best for you and your their families, and I hope to see those efforts and passion expressed again someday. And finally, to round out today's video, let me just ask you, what was the last thing that you worked on and were you able to complete it? What was your journey like? And or, have you played Hypnospace Outlaw for yourself? As always, I'd love to hear from y'all, so be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like. With that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.